loves, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie. You saw the title of today's video. We just had it break that Will Smith finally speaks about the incident with Chris Rock in the Oscars in 2022. So what happened? What is going on? It's been 3 months. Do you remember this was like the headlines for the whole month, guys? What was it back in, was it March? It was a while ago, but this was a huge story. And if you guys remember, I'm sure you do, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars because he made a joke about Jada Pinkett, and Jada Pinkett had shaved her head because she has alopecia. So when he made this joke at the Oscars, Jada rolled her eyes, Will went up there and slapped him, and has been fairly quiet. Now, he did put up something on Instagram apologizing, but we haven't heard anything from him at all. But he finally speaks, and he actually apologizes to Chris Rock. But the video is kind of weird. So I want to analyze it with you guys and see what you think. And to those of you that are new, hi, how are you? My name is Katie, and on this channel, we just giggle about everything and joke about everything in the mainstream media because we hear nothing about Jeff, an airplane, and Ghislaine Maxwell, and that sentencing, but we hear this. So like, to me, it's all one big joke. So if you want to giggle along with us, make sure and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also, I'm doing a $100 gift card giveaway August 1st. Really simple to be entered and eligible. You just have to like the video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, and share the content. Watch the video from start to finish. And do it for every video you see because you get entered more. It helps me, it helps you, and I like helping everybody. Also, to everybody, I'm so sorry I'm not dressed up today. I was actually going to take today off. And you guys know, I don't take days off, but I was like, I'm not feeling very well. I'm gonna take today off, and then this broke. And I'm like, nope. So you're getting yellow hoodie and pajamas. I was like, you know what? At least in this, I can give you guys some sunshine. I'll wear my bright yellow hoodie. These pants, I hate these pants, but I'm doing laundry right now, so I'm like, okay, whatever, as long as I'm comfortable and you guys are comfortable. So let's dive into this and see exactly what is happening. Let me check my sound. I feel like now forever you guys are just gonna see me do sound checks until I figure out what this is. I think, fingers crossed, in the next month I will be getting a computer dedicated to just this stuff, so I'll have it like over here, which would be fantastic because this little laptop is trying so hard, but it needs more help. So let's dive in. This is from yahoo.com. By the way, we're gonna get in the whole video. I just wanna give you an overview. It says, Will Smith breaks silence about Chris Rock Oscar slap in new video. I'm sorry really isn't sufficient. It says Will Smith is finally addressing the Oscar slap drama. He posted a new video titled, It's Been a Minute, to social media on Friday, answering questions about shockingly slapping presenter Chris Rock during the March Academy Awards telecast. The comedian has made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair, unaware she has alopecia, triggering Smith, who stormed the stage. One of the last few months, I've been doing a lot of thinking and personal work. A title card said at the start of a nearly 6-minute video. You asked a lot of fair questions, and I want to take some time to answer. Smith went on to tackle them, starting with why he didn't apologize to Rock that night when, a short time after the slap, Smith was backstage to collect the Best Actor award for King Richard. He says, I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I reached out to Chris, and the message that came back was he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable. I'm here to talk when you are ready. And he also said, I want to apologize to Chris's mother, saying he saw an interview that she gave about the slap. That was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother, and I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man. This is probably irreparable. I believe Tony is Chris's brother, by the way, who actually spoke out about this in stand-up. So I don't want to do the whole article. I just want to go over some of that. And now let's actually get into the video because there are several things he says, and I have several things to talk about. And then there's some kind of weird stuff where is he being genuine with the apology? So let's take a look. This is directly from his YouTube channel, guys. So we're going to watch this, and then I'm going to give my commentary and tell you what I think. So here we go. And then it says, it's been a minute. Over the last few months, I've been doing a lot of thinking and personal work. You asked a lot of fair questions that I want to take some time to answer. Big sigh. I'm not making fun of, by the way. I probably would have started it too. It's a way to try to relax your body, stress reliever when you do that.
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech?
Good question.
I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris And the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk.
Makes sense.
And when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment.
Good self-awareness.
So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man, and this is probably irreparable. I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment.
Good. That's good.
And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment.
Good. Good.
There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults.
Good. Good.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something?
Good question.
No.
Yes.
It's like, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris.
Good owning up.
Jada had nothing to do with it.
Good owning up.
I'm sorry, babe. I'm going to say sorry to my kids and my family.
Good.
For the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me, and it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment.
Good job. Good.
I can still see Questlove's eyes. It happened on Questlove's award, and it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient.
Yes.
What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down? So there's two things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma.
People pleasing.
I hate when I let people down.
People pleasing. We'll get into that.
So it hurts. It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me. And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful.
Good.
And I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself.
Yes.
I'm human. And
I have that problem.
A mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of
Good.
So I would say to those people, I know it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world.
Yes.
And, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
computer just a little bit and the mic goes out. That's why hopefully I'll get a new computer here soon. Let's see if I can just do a little bit here. Okay, let's see. So I have several things I want to say. This is going to be a little bit of a long video, but as I was saying, you guys know if you're on my channel or you're new to my channel, I like to do deep dives and give perspectives from both points of view. Now, you're not going to get me just raging on Chris. I feel like there's Will. This is another thing. I'm having a bit of a health day, so if I mix up names and things, please forgive me in advance. Like, even though I look, when I say I look good, not like I look good, but like I look okay and I sound okay, I'm barely making thoughts right now. I'm just so good at talking, it's autopilot for me. So please forgive me if I get little mistakes here and there like that. It's not intentional. But okay, so let's talk about this. So a lot of people are going to rage and rail at Chris. There's going to be a lot of body language. Let's examine, right? Nothing, and look, I get it. I understand why people do that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And there's a lot of shady people in this industry, whether or not it's Hollywood or YouTube. But what you're going to get from me, I'm going to try to give you a fair, accurate depiction from both sides of a situation of what I'm seeing. Because I feel like the more sides we can see of something, the more wisdom we can come to, and then the better we feel, and the more we can move on. So with that being said, let's dissect. I really liked this video. Now, there are a few things. First of all, I will say this. Does this seem rehearsed or acted? If I'm going to be honest, some of it does. Some of it does. There are times in this where I feel like it, and I'm not saying this is the case, but it kind of feels like he's reading from a teleprompter. There are other times where I feel like we see some genuine emotion. So if I'm being honest, and let me tell you some of the red flags I see up front, right? Let me tell you that, because then I want to get to the good stuff. Some of the red flags are when I do like the apologies. It does seem like a PR team wrote this. I will be honest. I'm not saying they did, but that's how it felt to me with a lot of the apologies. When he was apologizing to Chris, it didn't necessarily come across super genuine to me, but it doesn't mean it wasn't. We're going to go into that. I think the most genuine I feel I saw him where he expressed more emotion, from my opinion, of kind of just analyzing his body language, his facial expressions, vocal tones, intonations. That was when he was talking about the people he let down. Now, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying he doesn't feel bad. That's not for me to say, because a lot of people will come at you with this sort of thing and they'll say, well, he doesn't feel this way and this is why. Unless you're psychic, which I am a little bit, but we all are, in my opinion, right? We all read each other or read things differently to an extent, especially people who've grown up in A-word behavior. If you've grown up around people who are physically, mentally, emotionally not nice to you, please infer, or intimately, then people who've gone through a lot of trauma many times, you, as empaths, right, we become empaths and we're very keen, our nervous systems are very keen on picking up all kinds of things as a protective mechanism, which you could, I guess, translate that to being psychic. And really, psychic is just sensitive. Your senses are more sensitive. Your nervous system is more sensitive. But unless you are a full-blown psychic, right, we can't really know what's going on with him. But I did find it interesting that it seemed like he seemed more sorry about the fact that he let people down and his image was tarnished than he was the actual apologies. Now let's get into this. I think this was very well done. I think he said all the right things. And I want to talk about this personally. At the end, what he was talking about, in my opinion, is people pleasing, which I have a hard time with. Many of us have a hard time with, especially if you're any type of empath or sensitive, or you're somebody who is really trying to do good in the world, right? One thing that happens is we can tend to really beat ourselves up. Like for me, my biggest fear is hurting. I almost want to cry saying this. You guys have seen me cry so much lately. But you know, it's fun. Not fun, but I was going to say funny, and it's not funny, but interesting as I've been doing lots and lots of healing work on myself. You guys know I've had a crazy year. I've had a crazy last few years, actually. Good things have happened, but there's been a lot of hurt and a lot of heartbreak. And especially I've had some recent stuff that I'm getting over still. Where's I going with that? Like I said, sorry, I'm having a bit of a health day. And in doing that, this is it. I've been doing lots and lots and lots of work on myself. And one thing I've understood, and it seems like Will Smith might have this issue, especially with Jada Pinkett. And I'm not here to analyze their relationship. I don't think that's fair of me necessarily. Not saying I won't ever, but I think he's a people pleaser. And I think that's very, very evident in the way that he doesn't set boundaries. We watched him not set boundaries with Jada quite a bit. And I'm not blaming him, I'm not blaming her, but he doesn't seem to set boundaries and doesn't always talk up. And a lot of times people like that at some point they explode, right? And I think Will Smith is a genuinely nice person in my opinion. But I think, again, because of his people pleasing, he has a hard time setting boundaries. And not just and expressing how he truly feels about something, right? I think he's always trying to be the positive, upbeat guy, and this was the snap for him. And this made him have to do a bunch of internal work. So I totally understand where he's coming from with that, and I'm glad that he brought that up. And I think maybe one of the reasons we saw more genuine emotion when he spoke about that is because that's something he's still trying to reconcile. I also like that he said, I'm trying to analyze these things without, I can't remember exactly how he put it, but I'm trying to analyze these things without thinking of myself as a piece of, right? He said that. I wish I could curse. I miss cursing on this channel. If y'all actually hung out with me in real life, I'm a sailor. Don't worry, I'm creative with it. You'll enjoy it. I like that because as somebody who, my biggest fear is hurting people. And I think that it comes from not just people pleasing, but for me, I don't ever want to do harm. And sometimes we do, because like he said, and I like that he said some of these things, I think this was really positive and healing. We're human, we make mistakes, even celebrities, even people in power, guys. We can't expect everybody to be perfect, but in his position, he has a huge responsibility to try to do the right thing at all times. But I like that he said this stuff because we can take from this something positive. And the positive thing is, and I like this, when I mess up, I beat myself up. Oh, this is something I have a hard time with myself. And what I realized is that's a form of self-A word, where you're hurting yourself, right? And we also, many of us grew up and we were conditioned to believe that to be sorry and be remorseful, you have to be A word to yourself. And that's something personally that I have been working on in myself. You can be apologetic. You can see your issues and you can work towards making things better for yourself and anybody you've hurt without having to hurt yourself. Because if you're just hurting yourself, you're just continuing the cycle of A word. You're just internalizing it. And many times, like him, that comes out externally. And it's interesting because he's a man, and men move more dynamically and women move more passively. That's why with men, when men have issues, they don't fix. It ends up being way more destructive in the world. Well, women will get more destructive internally to themselves. By the way, I'm not trying to put down men. I'm literally explaining mechanics of how men, I realize these are like not the same length. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. But men, this is how they tend to typically move and how they do things in the world. So I really liked this. I thought there were a lot of good things. Now, I also want to say, I can already hear it. I can hear the videos of people really wanting to dive into, he didn't apologize right. He's not doing this right. So I have a few things to say about that. I've been in a position in social media and in being known, not like him, but in my first round of YouTube, where you make a mistake or even you make a perceived mistake, and then everybody cuts you down. He's in a position where he can't win. And what I mean by that is everybody's going to analyze every single little thing he says and does. So it could be a situation where his apology to Chris looks more rehearsed and looks more like it's really controlled, versus him talking about the people-pleasing aspects at the end. This could be that he actually really is sorry and wants to make sure he does that right. So he tries to put aside his own personal feelings, and there is what looks like a little bit of that acting persona, but it could be that's just his way of trying to be respectful to the situation. Or it could be he doesn't care and it's a PR move. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just giving a different perspective because that's what we're going to hear. I promise you, we're going to hear people doing nothing but tearing him down. And in this channel, I don't want to just tear people down. I know I have a lot of stuff about Amber Heard and we talk about things, and from that I mean, she's been a horrific person and I kind of giggle about it, but even her, I don't want to tear people down. And especially if it seems like they're trying. The other thing is people could say, well, it took him too long. In the position that he's in, guys, you kind of can't win. And I think it's actually a good thing that he took 3 months of, except for that thing he put on Instagram, to be quiet and do the work. I do think that says something. It also might be that he wanted to take the time, because people could say he should apologize immediately. Well, he should have. But guys, there's also something else we have to look at. Now, I'm not saying what happened was okay. I will never say that. The physical violence, never okay. He was having a mental health crisis. Doesn't excuse it, but he was having a mental health crisis. I think the best thing for him to do is to be quiet and deal with that, because that is why it happened. And I think if we see it from that point of view, we can have a bit more compassion and understanding for the situation. And here's my thing. At the end of the day, do we want to be right and do we want to be self-righteous? Or do we want to create division, or do we want peace and healing? On this channel, and what I want, and I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do. I'm not trying to act morally superior, put anybody down. I'm just explaining how I operate. I want peace and healing for everybody, including myself. And that's what I'm constantly trying to work towards. And sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional because I'm going through a situation where there's somebody that I have to let go of in my life, and I desperately wanted peace and healing with this person. And that's another thing. Sometimes you can't get it. Like, he reached out to Chris Rock and Chris said, I'm not ready. And that's okay. I have a situation where somebody I know not only is not ready, this person that did so much damage to my life that I pray me and this person could just sit down and have a genuine conversation and just get to a place of healing. But to do that takes realness and somebody being honest and authentic. And I've had to understand this person that I have in my life, they're not ready. They're not ready for that. And they, because of that, they don't have the tools or the equipment in themselves to even hear me and understand me. I mean, they hear the English words, but they interpret it as Japanese, and they don't even know Japanese. And so I'm like pulling out my hair. And what I had to realize is sometimes there are things where you can't heal in that moment. You can't make peace, and you have to let it go. And I think it was good that first, before he did this video, he reached out to Chris personally. And Chris, you know what? What a horrific moment for him. He was the victim in this situation, and he had to go up there and act perfect. He had to take on the brunt and burden of the responsibility of getting victimized in that moment. He didn't even know. What if he wasn't physically okay and he wasn't even aware of it? He was just in shock, but he had to act perfect. And you know what? That's exactly what, and people praised his reaction. And we should praise his reaction. But this is something that happens, it's awful in society. We make the victims have to act perfect in their reactions. And that's also not okay. Now, here's the thing though. Again, what can we extrapolate and take from this, right? Peace and healing. And I think at the end of the day, that's what Will was trying to show. I'm glad he apologized to his family because, my goodness, his whole family, especially Jada, got all kinds of stuff. Now, I'm not going to argue whether she should or shouldn't. I think a lot of people, this was a lot of irritation and upset from people coming out on how we feel like we've seen Jada mistreat him and their dynamic. I get it. And I'm all for it with some of the stuff. We've seen her just blatantly be kind of rude and disrespectful to him. And there were even times where he said, hey, I don't like this. And she didn't care, just went right over his boundaries. I get it, right? I get it. But at the end of the day, she's not the one that did this, guys. Now, this anger, this hurt, this resent, all these things that came out may have been a buildup of their relationship. And I get why people broke it down. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have. That's not what I'm saying at all, right? But I think it's good. And his kids got crap that I don't think was fair. And I think I like that he apologized. I like he apologized to his nominees because he should have. It ended up making this whole situation. This is what happened. When he did that, the Oscars were no longer the Oscars. The Oscars became all about Will Smith and his pain and all the issues he wasn't dealing with. So I'm going to go ahead, because I know this video is getting really long. I didn't mean for this to be that long, but here's what I think, and here's the ultimate message. I really hope that, we've given Will and Jada and his whole family a lot of crap over this. And you know what? Will deserved it. And I think that's the other thing. I think with a lot of these celebrities like Jada, she comes across very self-righteous. It's very like, we have to open up our mouths and we have to go into every personal detail and say every single thing because we're celebrities. And there's this air of well, because we're celebrities, we need to teach you, the poor and downtrodden, or the not as wise, or the not as intellectual. We need to teach you how to live. And I think a lot of people have resentment towards Jada because that red table talk. I think that's how a lot of that can come across. And then you see Will do something like this and it seems so hypocritical. And I think people get so irritated because Hollywood in general seems this way. It's funny. They are in, the Hollywood is a cult where they R-word each other and they traffic people, women and children, right? And even men sometimes. This happens. And then they want to act holier than thou. It's like the people paying you are the worst people on the planet, and you are supporting them by literally playing make-believe. You think you're better than us because you play make-believe. You do what toddlers do. And I'm not saying it doesn't take talent to be an actor or an actress. Please don't get me wrong, but I'm saying a lot of us get really fed up with that, and I think that's why they got a lot of crap. And in many ways, it's deserved. But we have to remember something. They're also human beings. And I am all for peace and healing. And I think that that's really what Will wants. And I would like to believe that's the case. I think if he were really worried about his career and he wasn't really worried about getting better, he wouldn't have taken this long to speak up. It wouldn't have been immediate speak up and then trying to fix it in the public image. However, we could also argue maybe he was waiting for all that to die down, but it's been 3 months. And if that were the case, maybe take a month or so. You know, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard kind of took over everything. He could have, in this situation, I think he's waited long enough where to me, the waiting seems genuine more than a PR stunt. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, maybe he's not being genuine. Everybody's gonna pick this. Maybe he's not. And I get that. I totally understand. But what I want to say is, I think it's important to give the benefit of the doubt. His behaviors, his actions, as well as the rest of his family will prove over time whether or not this was genuine. And I really do pray for Will. Will, if you're watching, and he won't, because he's a mega star, regardless of whether or not his star has got a little less shine right now. You know what, Will? On this channel, we're all about forgiveness and healing, and you're forgiven because you're a human being and you deserve that. And I wish good things for you, and I wish good things for your family, and I do think good things can come out of this. And Will, I think you speaking up in this way and apologizing publicly, I think good has already come of this, Will. So thank you for trying to make things right and doing what I perceive. I think this is maybe the best he can do. Guys, if he breaks down and cries, it's going to be another meme and people making fun of him. If he really breaks down and shows some of the emotion he's going through, then it's, well, you're making it all about you. So please understand, when we see him maybe looking a little bit robotic or stiff, he's got to come at this just the right way, and he needs to be calm. And that's the other thing, he's got to be calm, he's got to be chill, but he also has to show emotion. So I get where it's like, there is no way for him to perfectly deal with this or come at this. And I think this might be the best that he can do. And I want to encourage that. I don't know, what do you guys think about all this? Sound off in the comments. I'm really curious. What do you think of my assessment? I just want peace and healing. And I think that if any good can come from this, maybe it's that it opened up this conversation for all of us. So let me know what you guys think. A 30-minute video. I'm so sorry. This is really long, but I wanted to talk about this. So I love you guys. More content tomorrow. I promise typically I put out more, but I'm so tired right now. And just, like I said, I don't mean to harp on it. It's just some of the health stuff. There are days like today where I'm like, I can't think. I cannot think. And this week has been a little bit stressful, but yeah. So I love you guys. Take care. Lots of love, lots of blessings. Till the next video, I'm giving everybody hugs, kisses. Y'all stay safe. Healing, peace, forgiveness for everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.